Lobby Peno, Sana Sao can ye say, send your tier the yen shena ye, but when we the enemy, yes, ye bet a friend is saying, ye bet trap one more a year constituency, no one wangasa, one more shebren, ye bet trap to Achnia, ye papa and farm constituency for net to a bad ma a year more parliamentary candidate, no.
Yes, so and I'll say on the balance of the law, exhibit and fact placed before us, we are satisfied that the duly elected representatives in question were not heard on the extremely critical issue raised, and therefore we make the following orders. And the court now will be about for S party, no. I don't know one tier speaker and tier other people, no, Kase. The 4 MPs no were not heard in Parliament, and for that matter, no, are grounds for him to grant this S party. And they gave the consequential orders, so which I don't want to go into. So these are basic issues. Emma Ghana for trust in the Supreme Court, and as for one has to do with the hasty manner, because in Sama Kesia Supreme Court besin Chief Justice Enyan seti date na campus Yehuda Ebetanso. Because if it is about priority, you cannot tell me say LGBTQ case, any priority. Because it's the issue affecting virtually everybody in this country. A sort of for a demonstration, a crime for a demonstration, a boss more kasa, be a kasa ukruma say. So you can say I did be a priority, a dead a change way in terms of priority.
No crown so a far a year there working LGBTQ dia kikanya working crown there. And no crown ye parliamentarians in our crowd ya to say. Eye emrano eye nhwena omanpanyin fa ne signature and science here na sebi be mane be meda no oba no obeda no se ye kwachiwa na je se wuti amra je se parliament kura no kura foaso no akwakoda president nim ye si nipa baako ese wono de wonti asienti no the whole parliamentarians no mo represented the people no womo no nsem no mo agi atumo no kura no ye ntwintwan so ansa na Supreme Court de humu ayaba.
And that is the funny aspect of it. You see, Makase, the era, yeah.
So you think the Supreme Court is not being fair to the people of Ghana?
Oh, I think the Supreme Court are losing respect in the essence. Yeah, today most Ghanaians see Huno as a political institution. Just people sitting there doing the bidding of their political masters, nothing else. Because we live in a country where rulings come from Supreme Court, and as if say about the rule. Everybody go on social media and they ridicule them. Say now no call Ghana, so oko Twitter. Two never me na trend. One, mwa. Second, your first unanimous FC. Dr. Ren, this is the Supreme Court of the land. Trending one, mwa, and mwa like animals. And the second one, unanimous FC.
The supreme justices of the land of Ghana.
Exactly. The highest pinnacle of judicial power. The highest. Whenever laws are created, the conscience of men comes alive. The conscience of Yes, and you see, I never now obey me say Supreme Court court same way so now or the ruling but says speaker any who say obey declare seat where I don't have any problem with it. But you see, the circumstances in more conducting or more. That is where my worry is. Conversation I am not determining whether a speaker's action is lawful or unlawful, but the circumstances are the Supreme Court are conducting, especially one, the swift manner. Yet me say Friday a convention. They don't sit on Friday to get a panel to decide on this particular matter to tell the speaker say ruling no onjina ho and I will have reasons on my in the your friends a ruling no my describing the ruling of the speaker say a impugned ruling ye jana a stand there and a fenya marking reliefs in one. I think them Jabakum, Dr. Ren.
So what year a year or a year some a year or a year okujeto, a year renowned legal, a year practitioner. No. Assembly working was say Parliament makes the law, but it doesn't interpret the law. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Intino, Banesadia, Nanka, Ubeka say, an idea, Parliament, no, one only the so no was Emrano, Emrano, more Mubet, the Supreme Court, and it is so far a year, the 1992 Constitution, yeah. Now we share the expertise, Shraj interested versus a year Richard Anane. Now with the back a year a friend is saying Article 1-2, any a year the Article 295 yeah, over a year I am well, we see the MPP versus a year Attorney General, Abdullah versus Attorney General, a year MPP versus Attorney General, a C yeah. Obeka says, handsome when you know there, the PFA say, yes, the Parliament, you know, no, akase the seats are vacant until we declare be a minority as the majority, no, but and so no one so mere yo mu ye no, a Supreme Court never church him, it is a Supreme Court, akase. The Parliament ye dear Sebio and Tasumwa and Kananka Jayama and Branes was
I think the Okuja Tono Odimdioka, or he's a lawyer and he has been several years of experience. But when it comes to some of these things, partisan thinking override their sense of reasoning. So, and some now all kinds of parliaments in the church, not Dr. Windham's parliaments in the church. Why need him? Who doesn't know? Obianim. Nobody is contesting that. So it's like
it's a Supreme Court in the church.
And that's why need him. Yati Kruma say your friends a go for the church and farmers in the church Obianim is Supreme Court in the church So it's just reinventing the wheel. The fact is something fundamental has gone wrong. And most of the discussion there, because we monitor radio. Me say people are not challenging the powers of the Supreme Court. Or arguments I am not challenging the powers of the Supreme Court. Is the reason why I am not dwelling my argument on the constitutionality of what the Speaker did. Namum circumstances are leading to this particular decision.
Yes.
Say, I told the idea within 12 hours, Chief Justice Betty constitute panel. About what can I say? When critical issues were associated way. At the what to date to create yenyabi. Yet to Cromana Electoral Commission at the NDC Electoral Commission issue related to registration at party offices in Nasa Forum. Among the issue NDC and 6 other political parties. Among the issue no court no. Almost say Chief Justice at 2 coin on to me mandate. I just back. Chief Justice or come back now Electoral Commission I do obey so the issue became dead. So you see, event na see Okroma kwanya Chief Justice and justices na conduct your mohono. And not some na yeka. It is not about who interpret who or who interpret what. And again, so some na afenyo mark in the court na. Me say let me try and read something to you. And say one S party because or say the entire Oba S party ne say. And reasons when a court to me so guarantee yellow because assembly in NTA. I say we refer to paragraph 8 on the enumeration of 6 grounds why I officially say Omuntino S party now mon hoto decision and I make actually way. S party because of the likely mischief. The likely mischief being a halt to business of parliament, especially committees chaired by the current members. Dr. Ren. Afenyo mark can say yenti ono kwana yan suspended at the end because NDC for no speaker no omo ye mischief our parliament omo pese omo say aban business I cause in the house. So we a Supreme Court judge the question say what business na NDC ne speaker I mischief to destroy it. Say 4 MPs we free parliament omo kwa parliament no ombetum e de crowd atum de akofie. And now mbetwe to parliament num and now parliament cannot get the quorum for me to do business and now this is a fundamental question that we need to ask. There are 275 MPs in parliament. Say 4 Kofia on what basis and Abakasa obi ye mischief to stop parliamentary business. This is a basic common argument we can make. And we a Supreme Court now we not this reason so kase other parliamentarians they are mischievous. Is even an insult say omo to no mo ye mamboye for no mugu parliament omo pese omo say government business enuntina maba for S party and court to say makan me no ya adwen. So the basic question me no a ye judge and ye be say ho say sa nipa for no free ma to what extent and a government business? You need to offer explanation. Government business ben no. And again, second one, I'll say, likelihood of the current minority members doing everything in their powers to hold the business of government in this dying minute. The same argument. Why he's coming as party say minority in this for near mamboya force say wanyana say nipa for no ekofia, they will destroy government business. Other one, a delay of government appropriation which could require the approval and they were winning. Sika semnen as a form because Sika ever spending as for Omunya Parliament to approve. The last one, I'll say the ruling amount to denial of the constitutional right of these 4 constituencies to be lawfully represented in Parliament. And I maybe say, sha for Nilo before they said they don't need a representative in Parliament. Clearly, the Speaker of Parliament was usurping the original exclusive jurisdiction of the Honorable Court, and he himself recognized it. So, basis are on the core, yes, sir. So, main issue need to be and nobody is arguing because still at our court. But circumstances, reasons on the core as party, and why court swiftly against all odds. Because with him, answer na in some noble babano, na meet a brand TV or Joy FM. I don't know if it's something Evans. Yes, in the day I can't want to be referee. Or say, baby, the concern is say Supreme Court bet me stop it speaker the all no crana. Say Okoma ruling na dear na Ghana for Becca because LGBT1 number to when until date, munya my ruling.
It say Supreme Court. Ubebisa say, "Womo consider public opinion crowd here."
That is the question that we need because omundima consider public opinion. Kamenya sure say the course and we see teteno na betimi akasa metime call there me pen na me you must be damned this current time ya you me to sit in the court and think say me na manya to me there me pen na me de be and what lose touch with the reality because modernity has come with its own prescriptions. You cannot do without the people, the platforms for criticism and those kind of stuff. And they shape the integrity of the Supreme Court. And then if you go to Twitter, if you go to other platforms, and people are ridiculing the Supreme Court, Nipa Nabaho, Supreme Court, no ni China for Asemo, and no ni Burkina for Asem, and Ghana for. So if consistently people don't respect the Supreme Court, what it means that time will come, they will give ruling and people will disregard it. Just imagine saying, "Yamia mafia no chana." Na speaker kase, "Wama ruling." Menso mena mete me house, branaba implement here. Don't you think we're going to have a constitutional standoff in this country? And do you think that is good for democracy?
The minority and now majority a year chief whip say, "Omanyan krakra say omo the soldier for the police for aban no the a year the ruling government the police near soldier for kra ebeba." And I'm also getting from other quarters from the NDC say. They are going to marshal a year their supporters. I'm a woman so Ghana and a year the Parliament House. And Tino say soldier fool, say police fool, come in Abomwa. They know say Greater Accra alone. No, they won the in 2020 election. And women say still now some are very popular in the Greater Accra. Until they are going to call all their supporters to also come to Parliament. Some of the soldier fool power. Where are we heading towards? An anarchy?
Exactly. That is what is likely to your friends say erupt. And your democracy, that is how it's supposed to be. Because parliamentary business in the military intrusion, military way, no, if I could see but it happened right under our no still date. Nobody has to resolve it. So government thinks, hey, I have to bully my way through. And the parliament, you know, the independence, respecting as a phobia, you will be a new because and somebody sitting at the Supreme Court, you know, can just stretch an arm into the and poke the eyes of the of your friends, the Speaker of Parliament, thinking, say, I can bully you to and get to my way. Obviously, you have the Speaker and the parliamentarians also flexing their muscles because on the balance of power, they are all equal. They are all equal. You understand? The same Speaker said. Unimplemented decision from the court now citing for contempt. Don't forget, say Parliament has contempt powers as well, because also the decision, you know, Okase has been disrespected by the court. The Chief Justice can equally be cited for parliamentary contempt. So I know the day, you know, power play, or be a flexing the muscles. You understand? And idea way, me free say a hunya. Because as long as these people have declared, say, main business and I'm a free party, because the very moment also work independent, automatically no free party. No, that is what the constitution of the MPP say. But I must say, until say I'm speaker, automation is automation. You don't need to notify the speaker. Automatically you lose your seat. And nobody is saying say yeah, palm free parliament. Oh, yes, a vehicle car now what's na mobile no, yeah, empty court. Constituency on a car for Fabra.
Already news to crown one cassa wako file crass say and ladies we NDC near wako MPP and the thing as some I can MPP from Kwanzu a bifa NDC near or no send no when DC aka our CCC or no one coin DC beam will be as conton crown into an also kahon ye were MPP for Nipami and Sa so much CCC your moon coin MPP beam one more minu as one more conton crown ye waba kwa no ye conton crown say an idiot or no eba for MPP into the empanti nama asem we no aye.
Yes, and until I share that bisa I say year 2020 elections, you know, after 2 months, and Okuja to a black declare say NDC, you know, free now call MPP, you know, MPP over contest 2024, I'm a MPP. Automatically, you know, Olusune NDC membership. Now, so lose the membership in a parliament, you know, why ho and a wujina. Say the constitution, I'm making it clear because me on the balance of power, you know, sometimes, you know, I have my own concerns, Obiko parliament. Now, or say, or in the future, no, on stand on the take it of the party, BMA, automatically, so lose the seat because me say, and this affect the current parliament because as long as an allegiance and just shifted, now. Or only allegiance to the party, but don't forget the constituency honor and your party from Kwana to Abamano. So obi a NDC parliamentarian or parliamentar. There are possibilities there. A man for me MPP for more constituency or to Abamano. There are possibilities a man for muni party independent for more to Abamano. And once so you weigh the allegiance to the constituency and allegiance to the party. So on the constitutional basis, you know, at the end you duly say you nullify. Is it allegiance to the people or allegiance to the base? Does it make sense? But you see, the cure our constitution now provided for that. So we wouldn't deny the people there and say, give them the second chance by letting the person go back and stand a beam. Then you come back, then the allegiance will not shift. Because my culture says, I'm way because of Kwame Nkrumah, because not all poaching. I was a Chelsea, not to talk to players. Money ball wants to know what to talk MPC.
And also the Liverpool share mo. Say who support to Chelsea there.
Oh, me the Barcelona fan. I said ya soja.
You Buziani Ura Eii Ivan Che innocent in any education como. Oh, Obia sending me a text message. Say, Dr. Ren, can you remind me of the date of birth of Jerry John Rawlings? Hey, same with the Jerry John Rawlings Baby film we had there. I'm on for no Jerry John Rawlings here on the 22nd June 1947. Me sure. Say, I date ni I Tanya won 22nd June. Akonoba was say at least we forget what happened to some judges. Now we person mo chere dey ensem kra mesre mo was at least we forget what happened in Ghana 30th June 1982. And into Rubin Subu Samuel Rawlings the date of birth nana and no in connection ben the woman and come ye die me hunu baby a fact okay. Obisa Mema a brief history about background about the year what happened in 1982. Oh, na say na die enye ehun asem ne 1982 die nim say a year Justice Fred or year Poku Sakode na a year Justice a year Cecilia Cranting Ado ana a year a friend say Justice a year Kujo a Japan womo ehwere womo kwa together with a year Major a year retired Sam a year Aqua womo hwere womo kwa enti eno ye story a menim de entia o peso ma Ivan na
those things belong to the dark pages of our political history yam pese ye bekai. But I think Nipakro can't same way because of the growing anger I Ghana for mu because of the activities of the Supreme Court. Because if you scale back to that time, there was so much anger, frustration to the stance that the ordinary person free say the courts were there for the elite power welders, no? Average ordinary Ghanaian, no courts who said we are Boabi Mano. They were not listening. They were not amenable to wisdom. People think say the Yako school, the Yako Ivy League school, na Yabana lawyers, and the Yanya Pongoti media say Yetina Yanim who will be also free Old Testament in the free talk from who no man for. But Sanya Mano Yene Funa man for and the trust begin to grow. And the Kofa Sanya Ma when you know the bano. My culture says in modern jurisprudence, you will mean. We are judge, we are lawyer. Make sure that you carry the people along because dispensing justice is not for animals, it's for the people. And justice, who dispensing justice are complete when the delivery is accepted by the people, not creating chaos or violence or doubt. So consistently, yes, we can agree. And yet the Biana rule in the free court will be any budget. And people are not in the Supreme Court of Ghana for any action. No, that is not what they are supposed to do. Their job is to do the right thing. But consistently, in some may be free court for Abba, a man for before, a be diatem, a be yes, na a grower. You should be smart enough, say, that environment outside court, are very, very important, even more than the courtroom. Now we're taking all these things into account so that basic judicial ruling must not be devoid of reasoning, logic, and common sense. Opa kusinya law or Harvard, opa kusinya law or Hefa. There are basic fundamental principles upon which every law revolves, and these things are common sense, reasoning, and logic. That is the only thing. Because Yati Kroma say, when legal issues about Beka and Sanse we munjama lawyers, not lawyers, and lawyers ain't need right to interpret constitution. The only people are constitutionally or more acquainted to interpret constitution are judges. Finito. Judges, lawyers have refined understanding, but court or can be a peer opinion. The only difference between who are when you're lawyer and no be a lawyer and they say he has been trained and has been given a refined understanding of the law. But the other can be a mere opinion because a lawyer cannot interpret the constitution. And internet on the little back court or back can semna kakasa or we are not your friends a judge in about what we say a here.
And a walking with the already a friend Immanuel Kant. Now we a German philosopher. Assembly Wakaye was say conscience was the courtroom within the human soul, where our decisions are forever on trial. But your conscience plays every role in the courtroom drama. And so when the conscience is alive, it means that laws have been created. And he said, just the conscience of a year. Okay, anyway, I'm fancy. Ora a year girlfriend Cobnedi who ever has say John Diego so 80 Ora Mark Ochri lawyer ever has say with the lawyer for no muti no wait me afrim na machipu in. The Supreme Court's stay on the Speaker's declaration of vacant seat aims to uphold the constitutional order and address what critics call mischief of Parliament, preserving the MPP's majority by allowing the affected MPs to retain their seat until the case is resolved. We every year we Godfrey Cobnedi will support or say Ivan Old Testament pa na we support ediba na ofa nkomoya ayedie no to me I think say Seni Ivan o kind of public opinion ye fa bibi to say bill be a na Supreme Court omo keka a ombedimi di asem no be ma ne be me da wo ba no be da parliament yi nyina ya gia tum se sa mra ne de pese bo mode na president science na so bibi ekoye be ma ne be ma wo ba no ba ye ntwe na so no Supreme Court say no kra de emfa no ho abra 275 MPs nyina no agia tum se ye nhwe ne pass mra no na mra ne be ye pass bill na ye be ye mra no na yentimi ntwe obi obeye saa niemo ho no asem ye ntwe na so no Supreme Court say no de won tiyo ama nei Sam George money a pastors for ni akɔ demonstration Supreme Court say one day so afenyo mark in the idea was so wenya aso a wate.
Yes. And that is the source of this whole noise. So, and I make us say nobody's attacking Supreme Court for whatever, but this is the whole noise around it. To say, in a swift manner, no, you bet me convening to act in this manner because of what? Government interest in Parliament is being curtailed or thwarted because of what? So, oh yes, Anna, you are no longer a court, but you are a political institution. Anna. You are there to further an agenda of a government. And that is the concern. The Supreme Court should be the last place I ever use as a political institution. Virtually every single institution in Biano are ineffective, including this parliament. Because parliament, Supreme Court, the all year parliament, because parliament over the years have demonstrated clearly. So, and the conduct of some of the people, or disenfranchising the people of SAR. Not subsequent to that, Parliament, I'm making sure that particular grave constitutional injustice is rectified. Clearly, a Parliament and serious. And the when you're serious now to fear, some of these things will happen to you. The Chief Justice can sit there and order you, said, no, we stop it. While in actual sense, that principle of separation of powers, just to ensure, say, your friends say obia betimi aye nadwuma without interference na say for why it matter most obi betimi abam by that such ordering around and then say for no it makes the whole parliament look some way be in the eyes of the people. So I think that it is the hypocrisy at Supreme Court identity, especially this current Chief Justice, because in recent times I had words of advice for her. Say ninua ba kuna no wo hodo ebe Supreme Court na nima se kura anim yabo osahwan o na otimi di ruling ba o he ruling ni matimi se sabi common sense na asefo nyina were missing from the ruling e ma Ghana for eto mu din at some point ko social media platforms so Dr. Aaron unim da na ekoso okroma amanfo atwetwe Supreme Court me hu nema bi say ya me ya because me free say you betimi lose every institution, not our court, because I don't know the last way ya eto dia on beje yan na sa man for air twetwe Supreme Court on various social way ya nobody is safe.
Na de ma abrochire kra ya abrochire ne anipa be person ba abrochire ne emra na ye adwuma no.
Yes, and investors come to your country, they first look at your legal regime. Before any serious investor will come into your country, they look at the legal regime. They read around to see what I said JGB said no musiti me kwana me kwanya asama me kwaya investment or na asamba, can I get fair judgment? Every serious company sit down and they do all these things, and they don't just pick their information from people. They read from news portals and also for opinion concerns being raised by the people about the judicial system, the credibility, and how it tilted towards a particular interest. And in growing our democracy, people should not be so rigid in their thinking. Say, "Me na mako school na mako siam rana me de pongo miya shemitintino me na me kura power de me pena meye." No, that era is gone. Now, Dr. Ren, Pontius Pilate nunca no mo shada de che no mo kura nipa nsuro mo na tse wa pongo mi na taro tiso. Rainbow Radio. Pontius Pilate no mo shada de che mo hunu nipa no. Omo kura na amanfo nsuro mo. Yesu jiro mo nim kan na dwe nkyere omo. In the end they see here. And don't think that you can use your power to intimidate and bully people. My catcher say the power of contempt I want your call to be irrelevant largely in most jurisdictions, free ho, because you need to empower the base people. You're doing work. And you man away ruling so we now we why are you afraid to say I'm on? People should speak about it. I can never insult any judge. I can never disrespect Chief Justice and so forth. But as some no we will speak to the issues, speak our mind, and nobody nobody cares. You understand? We will continue to speak the truth until said name. So that notion of me nipa na meye we no money belongs to the 12th century. It belongs to the antiquity. And then a mature contempt and I say, so what they ruling banana people will tell you in your face, say, hey, ruling na dabano, nyansa nim, and until who the akoso or social media no.
Jo abusia obetimi abomodiana onso wabechere wadwene ani owura eye Ivan Chei innocent na adwen komo no my main car was say I'll going to go and have my tea but more than a copy binom. I want to wumpa. Kona kwaji or Dawoodi and 10 on these numbers. So 077962 236426 and also between me for 0755 2527877. Obebusa say all going to be have by it in DNA a boa a boost your immune system and our digestive health a shenso a relaxo and a sensory a sleep aid a anti-inflammatory and stress a relief in Tibomodia Kojewodie a special promotion that's why I also for a January a year intake no a year overseas a year student house no a different time wa pese de obusuani bi ba school e wo UK ha wadofo bi pese wo modiana boano e ba school a e modiana be pursue a year benyanimdia bomodiana na frɛ a overseas student house e wo numbers we so 020 81443633 and now says 0 plus 23324285037 and now plus 233243173 713 friend 10 more for a year all a year intake in January 2025 no discount kesiye ewo 50% ewo obia obabe MSc in cyber security, MSc in information technology, masters of public administration and a year masters ewo a year education so bomodia na woni a year overseas house and momodia and retreat a year and come and 10 my grand home war and so baso mamenko ahumane so na sanamekwa ahumane so kai wonu say a year memende ya a year 22nd 26 a year September ye ko a year kwa GNI homo a year Kentucky Teko True or so a bar CB venue near Borough Hall a Greenwich ya postcode near SE 108RD say wo petikita twa fre call a year www.grandhomeward.com for any information so fre 07983650767 and 07960827547 yeah so hello
hello doctor
yes Johnny.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Johnny.
Apom to say.
I'm here. Nyamiadom. Eii Ivan so. Obo Juma. Yeah. Yada nyamiasi for another week. Doc, I would say most often ye banner ye bekan sema. Maybe you be thinking bega say for political games and I say for political expediency. What you say? Say so bekan time ya make say. Since Akufo-Addo be president, there is nothing Akufo-Addo did in Saka.
Oh, so free SHS. Free SHS.
Free SHS are school for school 2 weeks a year promote you.
One member crying October 28, no massa come name 30th October.
Doctor, sub woman, no over Riasi. Doctor. Since what you cannot cry, so the way referee.
Since then, my honor now line the car TNT Antony ye.
Since I will be reassi, yet do be reassi when you quite this school the other night. Won't you promote you be 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Me who be that?
It's a say dear. So, now, doctor, a done be. I think some many Ivan disagreement on this notion.